Hey folks, Steve here. How you doing? Tomorrow I have to go to a drywall job that I have going, and basically it's a ceiling repair. It's almost like a handyman thing. But it's a ceiling repair and just a really bad seam tape job. So, this is what I've got. I've got a ceiling. So, maybe if you can see that. I've got yeah, that's what we're dealing with. A seam here. I have a seam that is bubbled up and it runs the length of the room this way, and I have at least one that way. I'd have to get the light moving around, but I know I have a few seams. These seams need to be repaired, and I also have, if you can see right there, wallpaper. So the ceiling is wallpapered, and that's what I am stripping out right here. So the goal is basically just to get a better paintable surface. And it will be what it is, but I want to make it as good as I possibly can. So I'm stripping out all the really rough, because I don't want to have to skim coat so much that I have to skim over that. Although honestly, that's an option. But there's got to be a reason why that's bubbling up. So I would think I'd prefer to take it out, and then I know it's flatter, and then I will have to seal this in. So I'm going to use a primer. I know even though it's painted, I believe I need to use a primer, and I'll prime all of the seams, and I'll prime, of course, everything that I'm taking out now. Get it good and sealed so it's not going to wick moisture away from the joint. And then I'll be able to come back with joint, and then just coat all the seams and get it all as flat as I can. Give it a good sand, check it, fill what I need to, sand it, check it, should be done. That's the plan, and I'll let you kind of see progress as I go. So I'm scoring these seams just so I don't end up taking more wallpaper off than I need to, because I do not want to strip this of wallpaper. Ideally, yeah, if I had the time. But they're looking for a quicker fix just to get it something paintable more so than it is now. They're not looking for a perfect fix with a $5,000 investment of time and everything else. So I'm scoring with a utility knife down these bad seams. That way I at least have an edge that when I start stripping off, there's a defined cut. And hopefully I can control that and then come back through and prime it all, seal it up. So therefore, again, not wicking any moisture away from the joint compound and causing any more bubbling. So what I'm looking at is drywall and really bad taped joints is what it amounts to. That they taped the joints and it looks like no sanding was done. The whatever joint compound they used, whatever they used for the joint compound, and this is older, after further investigation, just drywall over probably maybe drywall over plaster, and just really badly taped joints. Nothing was sanded, I believe, before they went back with the wallpaper. Could have been a homeowner. Or it could have been just a bad contractor. I don't know. I pick up some oil primer, and then what I'll do today is just get set up and just prime everything that I've got here with some oil primer to get everything sealed in. And then once that's all set up, next couple of days, I'll come back and I'll be ready for joint compound and start to put back and make the ceiling look like $100. Been a while since I've done ceilings, so not as smooth as I would like. But it'll sand fine because I'll do an initial sand once this dries, and then I'll be able to feather it out, make it all happen. But wow, a little bit out of practice. I'm surprised. Tomorrow I have to go to a drywall job that I have going, and basically it's a ceiling repair. It's almost like a handyman thing. And so I've stripped everything out. I've gone back with joint compound over the seams. I'm out of practice with ceilings. Walls, I'm beautiful, but ceilings, I'm out of practice. So I'm actually going to sand in between the first and second coat. I just need to smooth some things out and make sure that second and then the third coat will go on like butter, right? So for that, I got this tool in. And well, this tool was originally for just the end of the job because it's a ceiling. And I looked into renting these drywall sanders, all right? And drywall sanders around here go almost $100 for the day. And if I need it, 2-3 different days, that's $300. And I'm trying to keep costs down because I'm doing this job for a friend. I'm getting paid for it, but I'm just trying to keep costs down. So what I did was I went ahead and bought this cordless drywall sander from DeWalt. It takes a 20-volt battery. Okay, I'm on the job site, and I'm getting ready to actually do some sanding. 100 grit, perforated. Looking good so far. That's the shop vac that I'm using. I do not have like a dedicated drywall shop vac. Friction fits right in there. Well, yay. That's not bad. So I'm hoping everything works, but I don't have anything physically or mechanically in the way now of, as long as this sands. If it sands, if it does that kind of a job, we got it. Button. Hey, update. So I have a second sand done, and I've gone through and more or less skim coated a lot of the divots and air bubbles and things like that, and trowel marks that I kind of gouged in when I was reaching too far or whatever. So I was able to go through and do a lot of almost like a skim coat, just repairing those issues and making sure that I've got a relatively flat contiguous ceiling. I have one more sanding to do. I will start off next time with the big sander, and then I will go to the hand sander and really try and cover most of the ceiling. And at that point, I will be able to figure out what I need to do last, and then I'll be able to turn it over to the homeowner. If I have a little bit more coating to do, then I would have one more sand after that. It would be more like spot sanding. So that's all I have to do tonight. I've got a pretty good cleanup going. Just basically stuff against the wall, stuff in that closet. Bags are going with me. I'll move that vacuum away and leave the job site fairly clean. I did not vacuum, but I will do a quick broom around, get it all in one spot, and then just vacuum that up. Looks flat to me, feels flat. I just have dimples, things like that to fill in, so I made all my marks on this final sand, if you will. And then I'll fill these, skim coat really, just really screed it right off. Minimal sanding, I'll leave enough of the pencil mark to where I'll know where to sand when I come back. And then I can turn this, I can clean out, turn this thing over to the homeowner, let them prime, because I don't think I'm priming. And then they can call me back and let me know if they see anything that they want filled. All right, here we are. I have just a couple of tasks today, and today should be the last day, except if I get a call back after they prime for any last little bit of fill. So last time I sanded, I took a really hard look with bright lights at the ceiling, and I marked everywhere where there's just whatever, bubbling, things like that, little divots, whatever it was. And I went ahead and filled those and really screed them right off. So, you know, it was pretty much a skim coat. So there should be light sanding tonight, but I am going to use my new tool, the drywall sander, but I'm going to have it on a low RPM, and I will have it with a 120 grit disc, which is the finest disc that I have. After that, right around the light, which is now a pigtail, they indicated last time I was here that they were actually going to replace that ceiling fan with a much simpler light with a smaller canopy. I should have asked that question because I've been just filling around it, and so now I have that great big bracket. I have that outlined with joint, so I'm going to have to fill that in as much as I can to accommodate a smaller canopy. I didn't bring my pan. I only have a 4-inch knife, but I can make that magic happen. It's a small area. So last word on batteries. I probably have, well, one pretty much full ceiling sand. Then I had an additional sand which was almost as extensive, well actually even maybe more extensive because I was feathering things out. Then I had a third sand, which would, man, I keep thinking I'm spot sanding, but really it's again a whole sand. And then finally today I had probably about 15 minutes of spot sanding, just looking for where I had marked. After all that, never charged the battery. DeWalt 6 amp hour. Started with a full charge and nothing. But the tool was still running when I just took this off. So really pleased with the battery performance. So I don't know where the saying came from, but something along the lines of, it is a poor craftsman who blames his tools. I try and live by that saying. So in a case like this, I don't have my trowel or my pan with me. I don't have 6-inch, 8-inch, 12. I don't have any knives with me except a 4-inch. And I have to do a little bit of work here on this light. Right up there. So, a lot of different ways I could do it, but I had this. So I'm going to give this a shot. So, 4-inch knife, and I have a dustpan. I cleaned it off very well. A couple of scoops of joint, and it has a flat edge that I can scrape my knife off on. So we'll give that a shot. Yeah, if nothing else, it's interesting. At least I can say I've done it. All right, so check it out. I'll see if you can see what I'm doing. Great. Now a little bit of scraping of the floor, a good vacuum, then I can load out. I will have to come back and sand that little bit of an area and maybe fill it one more time now that I've got that exposed. I can hand sand that, and if I leave the vacuum here, I can just hold the vacuum up while I do that. I'll be good. I can load the rest of the things out tonight. Awesome. Hey folks, coming to you from a truck right outside the house. Other than that ceiling fan area where the ceiling fan supports came down and it left a pretty big gap of where I did not cover, other than that, I am done. So I will have to come back, sand that, recoat it, probably more like a skim coat, just to even that thing out, and then it would require one more sand. But those are, 10 minutes in and out, plus a little bit of cleanup. I'm not gonna bother to film that. I'm gonna call this good to go. So there you go, Spence on a job site. Hope you enjoyed it. So, what did this job cost? Right now I don't know. I don't have my clipboard with me, but I do know that I did cover the expense of that tool that I bought, that drywall sander. But how much more than that? Do I have enough to take my wife out to the dinner? I don't know. But what I will do is when I get home, I'll check that clipboard and I'll fire the camera up and I will let you know in the next clip what the job cost. And I did it basically hourly because it's a friend of mine and I kind of owed him. So this is nice. This is going to work out. All right, so next clip, you'll find out how much it was for me and then we'll be done. Hey folks, I was editing this video and I realized I never shot the clip on about what it costs. So I figured I'd grab my phone and shoot it quick and then include it in the last little bit of this video so I can get it posted. Alright, so what did this cost? Well, all in all, right now I have 16 and a half hours in, and that included everything that you heard about or saw. And I'll have another 2 hours with a couple of return visits, an hour each, because I don't charge less than an hour before, even on a job like this for showing up. So with that, I'm only charging $50 an hour straight labor, and so I'll have $925 invested in this job, getting that ceiling flat and ready to paint. As far as materials, I only had two things that I bought, and that was a bucket of joint compound for under 30 bucks and a gallon of oil-based primer, which was just over $70, which was actually shocking to me. So we'd call it 100 materials. So in the end, $10.25. That's this job without any profit or anything, and that'll more than cover that tool, and it'll leave me with reimbursement for the materials and about $400 or $500 that I didn't have before I started the job. New tool. Yeah. Hey, there you go, folks. If you would, like and subscribe. Thank you for sticking with me on a very long video. I don't know how many hours because I let that camera roll quite a bit, so I've really cut it down a lot, but there you go, right? Okay, you take care. Have a good one, whatever it is. And again, thank you for sticking with me. I really do appreciate it. Give me some comments down below on, any questions, comments, whatever you've got there, and keep it positive. All right, catch you later.